Hello and welcome to another installment of Panic Props. Today we're working on some more headstones. We are using an 1.5 inch thick insulation that you usually use for a basement and other construction methods. So it's just a blue one I'm using. The color of it depends on which store you're buying it from, and this is just what happens to be what I had around the house. So it's about 1.5 inch thick. I have some 2-inch stuff I bought. It's in the garage, and planning on using that for another project. It'll most likely be another headstone project. I do like to vary the sizes a little bit, give more interest to them, and just a more realistic feel to the graveyard site. Headstones are all going to be different sizes and thicknesses and things like that. So I do a lot of designing with them. As you can see, I have some tape on here. It is painter's tape I have on here, but for this project I recommend using the cheapest masking tape you can get. It's just want to cover it up, keeps it from being eaten by the paint. So that's how these ones are done. A lot of people, they will take their styrofoam, they'll carve it out, do these intricate designs with it and stuff, and then I'll spray it full of paint and eats most of the designing away anyway. But if you go with the masking tape, it protects the styrofoam beneath it, and the paint can't get to it. So your paint does all the etching for you. It does all the intricate digging into the styrofoam, eating it away, and gives it more of a stone feel anyway. So that's exactly what you're going for. Masking tape works really well for that. The reason I say to use a cheaper brand of tape versus the painter's tape and stuff is that the painter's tape is made to release easily, and you actually want to leave the masking tape on. That way it keeps your design there. You don't have to repaint it and then have the repainting etch away at what you don't want etched, or you don't want the depth of it to be taken away. So I do have one here. This is a single coating and then a second coating of a lighter color, but this is it so far. It's not done yet. Normal life. And did my design with the masking tape. Really neat thing with the masking tape is you can get the different widths and pretty much base your design on those widths, and it allows you to make a lot more intricate designs using those widths as well, depending on how artistic you want to be with it. Another thing that's really neat about the masking tape, and especially the cheap stuff, is you always get frustrated when it tears down the middle. Well, that's great for this project because that's what I use it for. I take the masking tape and I will tear it in half right down the middle, and it gives more of a chiseled look to the lettering. I don't know if you can see that, but the edges are not completely straight. They are angled, chiseled looking. Gives it more of a stone feeling again, which is what we're looking for. And some of my pieces, like down here, these ones are solid. I didn't rip any sides on it. These do have a little bit of ripping, but definitely I do the words, gives it more of a chiseled feel. Also, again, if your headstones and stuff, you have some foam break off or something, it doesn't matter. I mean, headstones and stuff, they break over time. They get old, they crack, they crumble. Good thing, it works to your advantage. So this one's, again, not done. I do need to put a little lighter coating on the raised areas and stuff, and I am also going to put more black and stuff on here, so it does get deeper. So again, it's at about 1/4 inch, I would say right now, and another coating should dig it a little deeper for me there. It does have that crumbled looking stone feel to it. So yeah, it works great with the paint. So just sit down, grab your styrofoam, cut them in whatever width you want here, and then right in the middle, they do have some seams that are made for breaking them, so it works out well. I used the center line, so I did take the sheet, which would be 4 feet wide. I snapped it right on that center line. It snapped perfectly straight. And then if you want to add some crumbling and stuff, you could take a razor and cut out chunks, cut cracks in the side of it and stuff. Your paint will eat away at it, give it more effect too. So here we got, pretty much your name is mud. You're in the mud. Just some design ideas. Just You can be as creative as you want. It works out well. Always remember that where the painter's tape or masking tape, whatever you're using, wherever that is going to be a raised surface. However deep you want to go depends on how many layers of paint you want to use. Another hint with this one, or tip I guess I'd say, is that when you are spraying these you will want to use a cheap paint. So a dollar store paint will work great. You can get them for $1. Even the name brand chain stores, they will have cheap paint for $1. So stock up on it. It's only being used to eat away and add the depth, add the crumbling appearance, and black. You know, I go with the black. It's great. It gives the depth, and pretty much you can put your grays and your whites over top of the black to kind of add more detail to your raised surfaces. But yes, dollar store or dollar value paints are great for this project. So every single headstone you work on won't even take a full can of paint. Yvonne Hitter. We do have just that option that these are very cheap. The styrofoam insulation is cheap. The paint, that's cheap. Masking tape is cheap. It's all really cheap, especially cheap brand masking tape for the Tear FX. And the great part is it's not going to peel off after you do all your work to these. So I don't expect the painter's tape to come off. That's why I did so many. It hasn't come off yet, and the paint seems to seal it on there as well. EB Goner. If you see these lines up here, those are lines I'm going to cut off. So I will be cutting along my lines here and repurposing those pieces probably on the bottom of some of these to give even more depth before I spray them. We have alley-oops here. Just some ideas for names and stuff for you too. As you can see, I put this little block down here. That's because these two pieces here I'm going to cut off. I'm going to place them on the very bottom here, so it's going to be sticking out here. That'll stick out a little further than the area where it gets eaten by paint. So yeah, that's just how you make them. They're real simple. And another tip I will say is that when I do these, I only paint the front and the edges at first. I don't worry about the back, because in case I mess up somehow on the front or the sides, I can just toss it. I'm not wasting a bunch of paint on the back. Back isn't really a big deal. You could leave them unpainted in your haunt site, because usually you will not have any lights on the back. But I do paint them black on the back, add a little bit of detail, but that's in case people get close to them. And so it depends on your haunt site. We got Bill Paid here. As you can see, all my designs are different because every tombstone is going to be different. Everybody has their own design and ideas. I don't put any dates on them. It's just added time that I choose to skip for getting more done. I do stick with the creative names because it gives people, brings their interest more to your site as well, because they got something to look at, add a little humor to their scares. And so that's again up to you. And then we got Mitch in a Ditch. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You can come up with any names you want. Just even if you're on break at work or something, or at school or whatever, just sit down and toss down names. Toss them around and see what you can come up with. I will be adding the paint to these, and I will bring them back for you to see. Get some depth to them, get some detail to the raised sections, and we will go from there. Always remember, when using the paints, use a well ventilated area, and when cutting the styrofoam off, always be safe and careful with the razors, and always try to recycle. So recycle and repurpose, that's what I'm doing here. Any pieces I cut off, I'm going to try to reattach to that headstone or tombstone or to another one, and that way you're not wasting. You can always use pieces that you take off of other projects or the actual project you're working on and repurpose them onto the same deal. So we will see you soon. So we are back with our headstones. Here's the original I showed you, normal life. Does have some damage up here, some cracking and stuff. I didn't actually add any cracks or breaks to the other pieces yet. I'm planning on making a lot more than this, so I will have more damaged ones, but these are the ones that just kind of fill my graveyard full of things for people to look at, enjoy, get a little laugh out of. So I'll show you the finished products here. I haven't finished the backs of these, so that's the last step, just a little coating of black on there. I'll take care of that. So, but yeah, this one has it's got the tape. I use the tape to extend the foam out. In fact, what it's actually doing is keeping the foam from being damaged by the spray paint. So it allows for the letters and stuff to sink in. A little different than I did the rest. So I have the engraved M here, and your name is Mud. So that's that one, pretty basic. Only colors I used were the black spray paint, the white spray paint, and the blue actually gives a little bit of some graying to it. Kind of affects with the black and the white. It doesn't appear blue any longer. It's got some other tones to it instead, so it works out pretty well. There's also green foam you can get that would also give kind of a mossy look, but I do tend to add moss after I set up my stuff in the graveyard. Add some moss to it, glue it on there so it stays on. So once I get to that part, these ones will be completely finished, the backs will be done, and they'll be all set. And put them out, put them in storage, pull them out next year. We've got this one, real basic one, bill paid. Another one, petered out. Petered out has a little bit of depth to it. I might add a little bit more paint to draw these ones in, but I do like having a little bit of difference between them, so they're not all the same. All your headstones and stuff aren't made by the same people, so they all have a different appearance anyway. So yeah, the different depths and stuff, it'll work. Works very well that way. So they're not like, they all don't look like they came out of the factory or something. Just like your standard graveyard. Now these are some of the ones that I used. EB Goner. Some of the pieces I used from cutting the corners and stuff off of the top, I do reuse, so I did add it to the bottom for more depth to the headstone. Gives it a little bit more interest, and just it makes it so it's not the same as the rest. That's exactly what you want to do. Just have all these different kinds of headstones out there for people to feel like they're not just in your most basic haunted cemetery area. Most people just buy them, put them out there, they all look the same, they're all the same size, same shape, everything else. Go this way. This way is easy, really cheap. I mean, you're using $1 per spray can, and you can't go wrong. Evan header and another. Again, I put that the leftover pieces on the bottom. There were 2 triangle pieces, and then this center piece, which is a rectangle. I cut out of the top here. Put it up in the bottom here. These 2 came from another one, and I used some tape and taped a triangle in the middle so it had some depth sticking out. So just any creativity, it all works out well. Whatever your mind can come up with. And I dropped that one. Of course, it's alley-oops. This square on the bottom, you could put dates or any other information there, but for the most part, if you got a graveyard, it's very lightly lit and stuff, so you won't be able to see much anyway, but it does look like there's some kind of information there, but I don't think anybody's going to get close enough to see that there isn't. Again, these came from probably this one here at the bottom, and I used the top areas for another one, so that works out. Here we got Mitch in a ditch. Got a little different details, so whatever design you can come up with. And the last one I have for this batch that I'm showing you today, Wicked Witch. There's the Wicked Witch one. So Kind of just made the top look like a little witch hat, and I don't know if these are like little boots or what, but just make it look different than the rest. It all works out. So that's your headstones. Very easy. Get your styrofoam. This is 1.5 inches. I'm going to be making more with 2-inch. I'll probably show you that video later. And the tape, this is painter's tape. It has been outside drying. It's been out in the elements, so it's gotten wet, and the painter's tape hasn't come off yet. This one on the edge is lifted, but not a big deal. But yeah, the painter's tape is staying on. I do recommend the cheaper masking tape because that stuff doesn't come off of anything and tears regularly like this. So if you can see this, actually I'll grab a different example. But if you look at Yvonne Hitter, the lettering, it is kind of chiseled looking, and that is from grabbing the tape. So it's like a piece of masking tape I torqued down the middle, which gives it the jagged edges, and that's the only effect that you need there. It gives the jagged look, and the spray paint takes care of the rest. So great project. Hope you liked. Give us a like. Share it with your friends, share it with your haunter, share it with anybody else that's into creativity like this. And make sure you subscribe. I got more videos for you. They're coming out soon. And I will see you then. This is Panic Props. See you on the next one.